Casey, Abigail, and Seth. We are switching gears a little bit and we're going to English. We are ready for pages 23 and 24. Yesterday we learned, we started talking about pronouns and we learned about nominative and objective case pronouns. What are some things that you remember about a nominative pronoun? Remember, nominative pronouns function as subjects or predicate nominatives. Predicate nominatives are words that always follow a linking verb and they rename the subject. So they kind of go together. Subjects and predicate nominatives, they go together. And those are always your nominative cases. And that is like I, we, he, she, it, they. Then the objective case always function as a direct object, indirect object, or object of preposition. And remember, a direct and indirect object always have to have an action verb in your sentence. You must have an action verb. And an object of preposition is going to be in a prepositional phrase. And those pronouns were me, us, you, him, her, it, them. Me, us, you, him, her, it, them. Memorize these, guys. Remember, it's very important to memorize these pronouns. Today, the pronouns up at the top of the page of 23 are again in a box. These are called possessive case. And something to remember about possessive is they are possessing something. They're going to be talking about, this is my shoe. This is our dog. This is hers. This is yours. This is your pencil. This is its eraser, or this eraser is hers. They are going to function mine, yours, his, hers, its, ours, and theirs. You see they almost all end in S. Possessive. They're going to function as subjects and predicate nominatives, direct objects, and objects of prepositions. The words my, your, her, our, and their, T-H-E-I-R, like their, dog, always function as adjectives. In other words, if you think about putting these words in a sentence, you would need to say my sister is whoever. You write it up here. My sister, or her dog, or our house. These are adjectives. They're describing something. They're describing a noun. These function as adjectives. And if you notice, the ones that function as adjectives do not end in S. The others, except for mine, end in S. And that will help you pick these out. It says, notice, his and its can function in a noun position or an adjective position. They are the exception to the rule. His and its can either be a noun or an adjective. All right, so these are called possessive case pronouns. My and mine are singular. Your and yours. His, her, hers, and its. That's for one. If they're plural, our and ours, like you're talking about two people, ours. Your and yours can be two people, and their or theirs can be two people. All right, in numbers 1 through 6, you're supposed to underline the correct pronoun in each sentence. Because of its or it nature, salt can be more than a seasoning. All right, what is the difference between this, its, and this. One has an apostrophe, one does not. Remember, the one with an apostrophe, that apostrophe is standing for, or that apostrophe means that you have taken out a letter. Remember, it would be it is. So put that one in your sentence. Because of it is nature, salt can be more than a seasoning. That'll help you decide, is it this one or is it that one? Because of it is nature or because of its nature? The next one says, you, yours, or your mother may use it as a preservative. You mother, yours mother, or your mother. Most of these don't take too much brains to decide which one of them fits. Much of our meat, much of us meat, much of ours meat, and many other foods are preserved with salt. All right, you guys can finish that later. Let's go down to number 7. The next section says, underline the possessive pronoun in each sentence below. On the line, indicate whether it functions as a pronoun or an adjective. Now, if you remember up at the top of the page, there were certain words that function as pronouns, certain words that function as adjectives. Remember, the adjectives almost all end in, do not end in S. Your, her, our, their, remember? My sister, her dog, our house, they're describing a noun. Okay? So let's look at some of them, and we are to underline the pronoun, and then we're to put on the blank if it's an adjective or a pronoun. So Casey, you do the first one, number 7. Have you ever brushed your teeth with salt or soda? Okay, there are 2 pronouns in there, but we're looking for possessive case pronouns. There's 2 pronouns. One of them is you, and one of them is your. Which one of those are possessive case? They're up there in that little box that we have. If you notice, the word your is the one that's up there in the box. That is your pronoun. Now, is it functioning as an adjective or is it functioning as a pronoun? Your is describing what? Brushed your teeth. Teeth is a noun. What describes a noun? Adjective, yes. So on the blank, you need to put adjective. Number 8 says, Grandpa sometimes soaks his in salt water. Seth, what would you say is the pronoun? His, yes, underline his. Is it a pronoun or an adjective? Remember, if it's an adjective, it says his can function as a noun or an adjective. But is his describing a noun in that sentence? If in order for it to be an adjective, it must be describing a noun. It doesn't say Grandpa sometimes soaks his teeth. It just says Grandpa sometimes soaks his. This blank is functioning as a pronoun. I'm sorry, not blank. This word is functioning as a pronoun in this sentence. And Abigail, let's do number 9. I can treat my sore throat by gargling with salt water. You notice there's 2 pronouns in this sentence. I is one of them and my is another. But we are looking for possessive case pronouns. And my is the one that you want. Is that functioning as a pronoun or an adjective? It is describing throat, my throat. It is functioning as an adjective because it's describing a noun. All right, y'all can finish that page. Let's go to page 24 yet. Again, you have another new box that you need to memorize. And these are pretty easy to memorize. These are called compound pronouns. And if you notice, it'll be myself, yourself, himself, herself, itself, ourselves, yourselves, themselves. Those are compound. There's 2 words together. And these compound pronouns can be a reflexive or an intensive. And what they mean by reflexive, one thing that helps me remember that, it sort of sounds like reflect. It's reflecting back to something else. And intensive means they are trying to make what's the word I want? They're trying to intensify something that they're trying to say. In other words, they give some examples there. I myself saw it happen. That's an intensive one. You could just say, I saw it happen. No, I myself saw it happen. You're trying to stress to somebody, no, it was me. I myself saw it. It's intensifying the word that it's following. And a reflexive, I helped myself to the apple pie. It's reflecting, myself is reflecting back to I. I helped myself to the pie. Those are called compound pronouns. And numbers 1 through 8, we're supposed to underline the compound pronoun. And then we're indicating whether they're reflexive or intensive. And remember, intensive is they are intensifying something that they're trying to say. Reflexive is reflecting back. So number 1 says, in the Sermon on the Mount, Christ himself gave the challenge to be the salt of the earth. So the compound pronoun is himself. Now, is it trying to intensify something they're trying to say, or is it reflecting back to something else? Back to the subject is what it's reflecting back. So Christ himself, you could just say Christ gave the challenge. No, Christ himself gave the challenge. It's an intensive one. Number 2 says, you may ask, have I yielded myself to this challenge? The pronoun you're wanting is myself. I have yielded. Myself is reflecting back to I, back to the subject. That's a reflexive. And number 3, to be salty, we must give ourselves wholly to the Lord. Ourselves is the pronoun you want. We is the subject, must give ourselves. So it's a reflexive. All right, y'all can finish those blanks. And then numbers 9 through 16, you're just going to be doing fill in the blanks. And you should find these answers at the tops of the last 3 pages that we did in the instructions. You should find these answers there. All right, that's all for today. Good luck, and I hope you make 100% on both of these pages.